Obviously, I'll defer to you with your boxing knowledge, the way you cover the sport.
All right, guys. So I wanted to talk about something interesting. Skip Bayless, Shannon Sharp. Both of these guys tend to be like pretty disrespectful, at points. And I actually think Stephen A. Has a history of being way more disrespectful than Skip Bayless. But I wanted to talk about why it is that Skip Bayless hasn't been able to keep coworkers, while Stephen A. on the other hand, people want to work with him. Stephen A. has had the same moderator for 5-6 years. Skip Bayless has been through moderators just like that. Like he's been through Jenny Taft, Troy Taylor. Apparently, Kerry Champion left because of him. Like it became evident, later on. So why is it? I want to get into that. But before we get into this video, please like, comment, subscribe, and let's go ahead and get into it. In today's video, I'm defending Stephen A. Smith. All right, so basically when it comes to covering sports, you see a lot of people covering sports, obviously, Stephen A., but everyone has their expertise. So it comes down to, like, for example, Stephen A. Smith has his expertise in NBA, Shannon Sharp is NFL, Chris Broussard is NBA, whoever, Rob Parker, baseball, Max Kellerman, boxing. So everyone has, like, an expertise. And the difference between Skip Bayless and Stephen A. Smith is that Stephen A. Smith acknowledges that expertise and he doesn't cross the line. And I'll show you examples in a minute, but the difference is Skip Bayless, he'll argue coverages, with Shannon Sharp. I don't need to get into it too much because you've seen like the clips on YouTube where they go back and forth. But for the most part, Skip Bayless is not afraid to cross the line, and I think that's a big deal. I think you can't really cross the line too much. And I like how Stephen A. Smith, he'll preface, because sometimes, Stephen A. Smith is not afraid to have an opinion. You shouldn't be afraid to have an opinion just because you didn't cover the sport as much or, you're talking to someone more qualified. But Stephen A. Smith will preface it in a certain way, and I'm going to show you examples in a minute. And I'm going to focus more on Max Kellerman because Max Kellerman is the one that's notorious for, everyone says that he's disrespected by Stephen A. Smith. So I'm going to focus more on the Max Kellerman, but let's see some examples of and then you'll see what I'm talking about. Let's see some examples of how Stephen A. Smith will just beautifully, preface what he's about to say and preface his opinion. Let's check that out real quick.
0% chance to beat Canelo Alvarez. That's the worst guy he could fight is Canelo Alvarez. The worst thing he can do.
No. Tell us why.
I want your because Canelo Alvarez is not playing games.
Thank you.
That's what I'm saying. Everything is muscle memory since he was a kid. He was a natural. He's fought every fighter there is. He's beaten light heavyweights, and he's a natural counterpuncher. You come to him, he just beats the hell out of you. There's no way in any.
So right there, did you see how he prefaced it? Like he said, "I want your expertise." He acknowledges that Max Kellerman is, that's his sport. Let's see another example really quick too.
Paul spends the next couple of years having real success, which is not out of the realm of possibility, along the lines of a plan I just outlined. He could position himself to be a big payday and easy work for Canelo. And I love the fact that he thinks he can win that fight.
What you say is very, very logical, but I completely and totally disagree with you. And you'll know exactly where I'm going when I say it.
So right there, you saw Stephen A. Smith, how he disagreed. You're allowed to disagree with an expert, but he prefaces it. He acknowledges, you know what I mean? Like there's no disrespect because like this is Max Kellerman's sport. Like every other sport, every other topic they talk about, Stephen A. is disrespectful. But when it comes to boxing, when it comes to someone's expertise, you see this happen with the new First Take when he's talking to Shannon Sharp. He just defers, he steps back, lets Shannon talk, acknowledges that he's the expert, but let me chime in. I know you're the expert, but let me chime in. Let's see another example of that real quick. It's just so beautiful to watch. I love it.
I'm just saying to you, I'll leave it to you. Feel free to educate me because I watch the sport, but not like you do. So I'm going to defer to you. I'm just saying, when I see Canelo and I see a cat like Benavidez with the speed and the boxing ability and the power and the viciousness, I'm like, there's certain guys that deserve love.
You see Max Kellerman's face there? Like Max Kellerman's touched. Like he's just like, this guy respects me. He feels respected. He feels acknowledged. You see the look on his face? I love that. Stephen A. Smith, say what you want to say about him, but like he will, like I love that. I love seeing that. And that's what Skip Bayless needs. That's why people don't want to work with him, in my opinion, is because he'll try to argue you about, he'll try to like just, assert himself over the expert. And that's just something you can't do. Just because you've been covering the game and the sports for longer doesn't mean you're an expert, and doesn't mean you know more about the sport than that expert. Let's see like one more example real quick.
Was Mike Tyson. People just did not believe he could be beat back then.
Max Kellerman, I got to tell you this. I mean, obviously, I'll defer to you with your boxing knowledge, the way you cover the sport exceptionally well, I might add. But I will tell you this. I never thought that Mike Tyson was the scariest, in his prime, the scariest fighter. The person that I thought about was George Foreman. Remember?
Do you see how beautiful that is? Like, it's just, I love the fact that he's, he acknowledges, like, every single time they talk boxing, and that's just not with Max Kellerman, but like every single person that, he just lets them have it. You can have your opinion, like I said, but this is just beautiful to watch. So, in my opinion, this is a good example of why people, because it's really about respect at the end of the day. Like Skip Bayless, because you have to remember, Skip Bayless is not really. I mean, he's an expert on a lot of things, but he's not like a true. Like that's not. He doesn't have like a specialty. He's never played a sport. He's just kind of like a LeBron James, where LeBron James has a great. He's great at everything. Like he's great at doing everything. Like he has a good balance of rebounding, good balance of passing. Like he's an okay shooter. He's not really the best at anything. You know what I mean? But the fact that because LeBron James, he can get around. Like he's the best. He's not the best at anything. So, and that's kind of how I view Skip Bayless. Skip Bayless is he's really good at covering every sport, but at the same time, he's not the best at anything. So when you're talking to someone that's the best, someone that's covered the sport, someone that's played, that's just my advice for Skip. Just let them have it. Preface it properly. You can have an opinion, like I said, but you just have to learn to be respectful. And Stephen A. Smith, that's something that he understands, and that's why people want to work with Stephen A. Smith. So I'm curious to get your thoughts. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts of if you have like any other opinions, or if you agree with this opinion of why is it that Stephen A. Smith, who seems to be way more disrespectful than Skip Bayless, but somehow people like working with him. Like I said, he has the same moderator. Even Max Kellerman. Like Max Kellerman did not want to leave the show. It was Stephen A. Smith's decision to let him go, but Max Kellerman did not want to leave. He enjoyed it, so I'm sure you can make a case that, okay, well, maybe Max Kellerman is built for it differently, but I don't think it's a coincidence. People like working with Stephen A. Smith, and that's my take, guys. I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.